A man sets himself on fire. Around the world, there's a bunch of camps you don't want to go to. And on top of that, America is the best country in the world. Let's get into it. Alright, over here, what we have is man dies after setting himself on fire outside Israel Embassy in Washington. That's what the Air Force says. Aaron Bushnell, an active duty senior airman, repeatedly shouted, "Free Palestine," as he filmed and live streamed his protest against Israel's deadly military actions in Gaza. He had been taken to the hospital on Sunday with life-threatening injuries. Now, I'm supposed to be doing a song and stories right now, but this caught my attention. Alright? An airman who had set himself on fire outside the Israel Embassy in Washington in protest of civilian deaths in Gaza died of his own injuries on Sunday night, a spokeswoman for the U.S. Air Force, Rose M. Riley, said on Monday. The airman, Aaron Bushnell, 25, of Whitman, Mass., was a cyber defense operations specialist with the 531st Intelligence Support Squadron at Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland in Texas, and had served on active duty since 2020, the Air Force said in a statement on Monday night. It is said that he had filmed the protest on Sunday and live streamed it on the social media platform Twitch. The New York Times could not confirm who was behind the account that posted the video, but the footage matched the details of the episode released by the police. A man dressed in fatigues identifies himself as Mr. Bushnell and calls himself an active duty Air Force. So, in a nutshell, he says he's not going to commit genocide at all. He's not going to be part of this stuff anymore. And he sets himself on fire and chants it. I am going to engage in an extreme act of protest. But compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their colonizers, it's not extreme at all. That's what he stated as he yelled, "Free Palestine," until he fell to the ground. Now, that is a sure way of protesting right there. But I tell you what, it should not come to this. It should not come to this. But that's the thing. That's the thing. This is so precedent around the world. This isn't the only time. Now, I went to New York Times twice. Here's the second one. This one is an opinionated story. But don't worry, I got stuff for you there. So let the tragedy in my homeland be a lesson. This is the story. About 7 years ago, people around me started disappearing. It began slowly, quietly. The editors of a well-known literature textbook were suddenly nowhere to be found. A friend of mine left for work and never came back. My family and I are Uyghurs, and at the time we were living in Uruguay, the capital of Zhangjiang, Uyghur, I'm not pronouncing that, region in the northwest China. The political situation in our region had been growing gradually more tense for several years, but still we hoped and assumed that these disappearances were isolated incidents. Pretty soon, however, the scope of what was happening became terribly clear. Since 2017, the Chinese government has carried out a program of mass internment in my homeland. In that time, over 1 million people, Uyghurs and members of other Muslim minorities, are estimated to have been placed in concentration camps referred to as re-education centers. Does that sound familiar, guys? Some of my friends who disappeared in the early stages of this campaign were, we later learned, arrested and sentenced to lengthy prison terms. Others seemingly just vanished without a trace. Alright, does this sound familiar to you guys? Alright, alongside all this, so this is just a story, a person's opinion, right? I did go to New York Times for that just to be better about it, but as of 2020, it was estimated that Chinese authorities may have detained up to 1.8 million people, mostly Uyghurs, but also including these people, and other ethnic Turkic, Muslim, Christians, as well as some foreign citizens, including Kazakhstanians, I hope that's how it's pronounced, I'm sorry if it's not, in these secretive internment camps located throughout the region. So this is backed in fact, just for you guys. Now, human rights violations have been breached, or so everyone's tossing out. So this is the human right violations that are being going on with Palestine and Israel. Significant human rights issued included credible reports of unlawful or arbitrary killings, arbitrary or unjust detention, including of Palestinians in Israel and the occupied territories, restrictions on Palestinians residing in Jerusalem, including arbitrary or unlawful interference with privacy, family, and home. So they are committing human rights violations there, right? Why are we not doing nothing about it? What? I don't know. You can decide on that. You can decide, but it's not just there. So let's get back into them camps, or the bedtime camps, those the other camps, the camps you don't want to go to. Forced labor in facilities nearby or affiliated with the internment camps, the destruction and closure of mosques and other religious sites, prevention of youth from participating in religious activities, forced political indoctrination or re-education. That's what these camps teach. That's what they teach. But you know what? That's not the only violations that they have amongst them. Besides the camps, in addition, children are removed from their families and forced in the state-run indoctrination facilities. Women and girls are routinely subject and forced marriages and other abuses are implied, including forced, that word I can't use, the A word, in portions, forced sterilization, I think I can say that, sterilization, and involuntary birth control implantation. All right, all that is human rights violations that are happening in the world today. What's going on in Russia? We got the Russia stuff going on. Some of the most commonly cited violations included deaths in custody, the systematic and widespread use of torture by security forces and prison guards, the extent of hazing rituals within the Russian army, referred to as Devoskochia, reign of grandfathers, as well as prevalent breaches of children's rights. That's what we have going on there. Now, we're being active with that, but we're not being active with the other stuff. And other stuff, it is definitely bigger. I can't say it's worse, but it's bigger. I think it's bigger. But America, we must look at America, all right? Human rights violations done by America. Would you look at that? Nothing's popping up. I wonder why. Now, I'm not saying we don't do that. That would be asinine to think that we would be the only ones not committing atrocity. But I can't say we are, because I can't be fact-checked with that stuff. I can only go with the stuff that I have facts and information on, in which I just gave you. So it's up to you to decide. Are we truly the best country in the world? I mean, it's up to you to decide, alright? All I knew is someone set himself on fire in protest, and I thought that was pretty awesome. Not awesome that he did it, but awesome that he had the courage to do something like that. It's sad when it comes to something like that, and I'm not going to say that anyone should ever do anything like that. You should never commit harm to yourself. There's other ways. There's always other ways. But you know what? He stood for something, and we got to at least, respect that and see it as it is. Otherwise, he would have done it for naught, and that would in itself be a true tragedy. And I just wanted to get this out there. It seemed important, and I know it's a touchy subject, so I'm definitely editing through this, but that's what I got for you guys. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it, leave a comment down below. I love to read your comments. Don't forget to hit the bell notification so you can be notified of more videos like this. Alright? Live it vivid, guys, and stay safe out there, alright? Because you matter. You matter. Alright? We will see you again next time.